Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I just opened my door, so I thank everyone. You guys will hear people passing, the cars, I'll be hearing them. It's gonna be fun. I'm back with another So With Me, but also answering questions that you guys, I just have so many questions that you guys asked that were on the one picture I put on my Instagram. That was just questions you feel embarrassed or ashamed to ask anyone around you, and so you know, I left it as a black hole to answer. Not that these are questions to be embarrassed of or ashamed of, but it's just like I understand like wanting to come to someone who's unbiased or just like a stranger, all that kind of stuff. I've done a couple of these now. You guys have been loving them, and I'm really, really happy that you guys have, because I love them as well, and it allows me to sew. I first need to fix on this side, like, well, not that side actually, it's more this side. It is a long rip that it's so simple that I just want to quickly fix up real fast. So that shouldn't take long. I guess I haven't answered this question in a while. Starting a YouTube channel and finding your niche. My channel is just a big black hole for myself in the end, and it's just a piece of documentation that I've always enjoyed doing since I was 9. I think doing it is what you have to lose, but do it for the right reasons. I wouldn't start a channel if you know you're doing it for the money, or like trying to get money out of it, or just making it like a full-time job. I wouldn't start a channel if those are the reasons why you're starting. I would do it because you love to do it and you have a passion for creating, editing, whatever it is that, you know, like YouTube has for that sort of like outlet for you. Do it for those reasons, because you're gonna end up loving it more and actually wanting to do it and not seeing it as like a job. Also, not focusing on numbers is a big thing, and not conforming to what everyone else is doing. Do what you love to do. That's really, really important, that I think a lot of people just forget about, because I conformed a lot whenever I was younger on YouTube, and I never was proud or happy of the stuff that I made. So please just keep that in mind if you decide to start one. But I think it's a beautiful thing. You have nothing to lose. Like, it's my creative outlet. I do it because I enjoy it, and I think that's like something to always just remember. I recently went vegan, tips for not letting it make unhealthy habits. I also had a question with, is your family vegan? Is it simple to be? So to answer that one, no one in my family is vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, none of that. It was a little difficult at first, just because I had to learn to do things on my own and cook on my own, but that was kind of the beauty of it, just learning how to do that by myself. I was 15, so it was really nice. But no one was, so I did have to learn to just do my own thing in that sense and educate myself. Just make sure you're getting the supplements, you need the essentials, all of that first. As far as like tips for not going down unhealthy habits or like roads, it goes back to just educating yourself on knowing that you are going to have to eat more than your other non-vegetarian, vegan people like around you. You have to come to terms with that is how it has to be if you want to successfully live this lifestyle, because you need more you need more calories, you need more carbs. I mean, you just need more, and that's how it has to be, because you're eating plants, you're eating not leaves, but you're eating like very low caloric foods, and that's fine, but you just need to eat abundant, which can be fun. You're eating like a lot of food, it's awesome, like that's like a dream for a lot of people, but you know, you just have to come to terms with that's how it's going to be, and you know, you have to like know that it's okay, and like that's fine. It's just what comes with eating as a vegan, which it can be hard for some people or difficult for some people, obviously. It's when you start to eat with people that you start comparing yourself more, and it just becomes toxic in a way. So just do that before and just come to terms with what you know. And if you find that it's getting unhealthy, or like just habits that are developing that aren't good for you, take a step back from it. Know that that can happen, and just be ready for that, because it's very common, and it's unfortunate, but it's true, and it sucks. So just be aware of what can come with it. It does happen, just recognize it, and just come to terms with what you know, like what you need to do going forward. How to deal with loneliness, ways to look within to find contentment. That is really important. I don't know where I heard this from, but I think Tomi said this. It's if you feel the need whenever you're alone that you need to be with people, which can be, I mean, especially right now during this pandemic, but you just feel a need that you need to be with people. Sometimes it's yourself yearning to be content with time with yourself, quality time with yourself. I think it's very important to know that you can be by yourself and feel content, feel good, and you know, like you don't need to be with people. Not so much like you're not feeling FOMO, but you just don't need to be surrounded by energy outside of your own. Obviously people need people, that's, you know, that's true, but I think knowing that if you were going on like somewhere by yourself or just being by yourself, that you can just be by yourself and be okay with it, not just like okay with just like being by yourself, but can find like quality time with yourself, which is what I'm going to get at, is that if you feel like you're lonely by yourself, I think it's like the hard truth, but just learning how to be with yourself and like active learning and knowing I think it's time to, I mean, those times are good for exploration of yourself and just self-discovery and inner work, finding what you enjoy doing by yourself or what inspires you and all that kind of stuff. I think it's a really important time to do that. It's kind of the best time to do that. Whenever you're constantly around people, you don't have time to just figure out what you enjoy, which I think is what, you know, self journeys or just like journeys for one, journeys by yourself, or just like doing things by yourself are really healthy and good for the soul, because you're able to go into situations with people with a better understanding of who you are, if that makes any sense. I know it makes sense, but I hope that like you can understand how time alone with yourself is beneficial when you do feel lonely sometimes. So just journaling or just watching movies or films or something, that just doing different things and just figuring things out for yourself, I think is what is important. Anyway, I fixed it, so I just did the sides. I got these on Depop, and they're by Reformation, and I think they were a little longer, but I cut them and it kind of ruined the sides, so the sides kept coming up. But anyway, if you guys were wondering, I wanted to cut this Old Navy like button up and have it be like a little cropped situation, but then like hem it, you know. I don't know if my friends actually care about me. I don't know what to do. It happened to me 2 years ago, and now again I feel so bad and I can't do anything about it. I think if that's a question that you're asking, it can stem from a place of insecurity, which is so fair, so allowed, especially these are new friends. You know, you didn't grow up with them, you don't know like how they really are sometimes, or when they're, you know, fully comfortable or fully, you haven't seen many of their lives or just been with them through different stages or like, you know, seasons. And so it's a fair thing to wonder if your friends, if you're really close, if you're as close with your friends as you think you are, if you are as loved or cared for as you may hope you are. I think by communicating your insecurities to your friends, if you're at that level, is really important. And it just sounds so uncomfortable and so not what you feel like you need to do if you're like really close with people. But if it's something where you're thinking that because they're acting a negative way towards you, or like kind of a malicious way or something, that is one thing, and that can, you know, that's a whole different subject. But if it's something where there's no signs that are really telling that are showing that they don't like you or they don't care about you, it's just that you are just not secure with yourself or not comfortable with yourself, so you think that it's just like a yourself thing where you don't think anyone else, you don't see why other people would care about you or love you because you don't love or care about yourself, which is a very common thing as well. But I think having that conversation with your friends, if it's that, is important, because if they do care about you, then they'll understand and they can work with you, and like you guys can kind of talk about what you need out of that friendship. Maybe it's reassurance, or maybe it's just like some validation every now and then that you're cared for, because I feel like that's another thing, is if we get really comfortable with our friends, we forget to express our gratitude for them. So it's just one of those things, I think, which it doesn't have to be an uncomfortable conversation. It can just be something where you've just been down that road before, and it really just causes just kind of loneliness also, just like inner demons that are just, you feel so like alone and just, you know, in your head so much, you know, when you don't need to be. I kind of actually just want to cut that bottom part off. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So I think a conversation is daunting, but kind of necessary if you want to like, you know, continue growing in that relationship in a healthy way. How to let your friends and family know that their ideas of diet and exercising trigger your eating disorder. I get like after you say that what they're doing is like triggering, it's like, okay, now it's awkward. Like now I just like made it so awkward, which you didn't. You have to express, you have to do those things for yourself. Because if you don't, no one else is gonna do it, and it just, you have to set boundaries kind of, because in the end, like, they're probably talking about them because they have their own issues too. And if anything, it could benefit them too if you just let them know that those topics aren't good ones to share with you, or like conversations not to, because our lives are more interesting than what we eat and how we or exercise our bodies. Like, we're more interesting than that, and we can talk about other things. I mean, food is so fun, and you can talk about things to cook and whatever, but not exactly about your diet. That's different. So we're just cooler than that. Like, we so are. And so there's other things to talk about, and it honestly would probably benefit that person as well if they have a diet going on that just comes from disordered eating. So I think it helps both of you in the long run, but it also is not like they're not going to be the ones to bring it up. So it is uncomfortable that you have to do that, but in the long run, it's going to help you. And your relationship with that person will just be healthier and prosper more, because you won't feel so much of like a pressure or just like bad whenever you're with them. Not that what they're doing is bad, but it's just not, you know, it's not beneficial. We're going to answer one more. How to take care of yourself without thinking that it is wrong. I want to answer this one because I just watched a video on self-care that I think did. And she said in the beginning how self-care has turned into, like, the connotation of it and the meaning behind it has just come into a negative, has become negative, or it's just become like almost like it's a selfish act, or just like, I don't know, like what self-care is so important. If you are taking care of yourself, you are going to feel better whenever you are with people, whenever you're doing things. Like, you are going to have so much more energy, so much more love for people. Like, you have to take time, again, to be by yourself and to just do things you love, and to just, it's not even selfish to do that. Like, you just have to do it. At the end of the day, you have to just love yourself like you're your own best friend. And that's so much easier said than done, but that's how we have to look at it. We have to, you know, that TikTok that says romanticize your life, like, that's the shit I'm talking about. Like, we need to do that, but it's just become so like made fun of because of TikToks like that. Like, they're funny, but we have to like also realize that there's truth in that. Like, we have to romanticize our life, because if we don't, no one else is gonna do it. And then what is this all for? Like, we have to just learn to live with ourselves, and like by doing that, we need to practice forms of self-care, which I just, funny enough, uploaded a video of me practicing forms of self-care. But just little things that it can affect you long term is just, they do wonders, I'm telling you guys. So it takes practice to not feel bad about it. Like, that's its own thing, but it's so important, and you are going to reap good benefits from it. I have so much fun filming these because I'm able to open up a little bit without fully talking about myself. It's just in ways that are like I have experience with and stuff, so it's good. And I know that you guys are just, you know, you guys gain something from this, and like even those who don't ask questions, you guys, you know, maybe heard something that resonated with you. But I've been doing these quite often, so whenever I do them, I like to post little Instagram stories where you guys can ask questions. So look out for those. Also, I meant to say, I'm in my little living room. It's like where you walk into the door right there. It has this window. You guys have like I've never filmed a video in front of it, but it's where my sewing machine is. It's beautiful lighting. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for tuning in. Hope this helps some of you guys. Till next time, be cool, as my dad would say. Guys.